We're officially starting World War II. Yes, World War II is officially starting. Britain, it's basically the reverse of World War II, where Britain and France are actually declared war on Germany. And as Garcia does not really pick a side as of now, you know, so the war begins with Fry and Warpy Empire, yeah, invading these countries' lands, encapsulating which they did not expect these two countries military to become that powerful over time as well. However, they get another country to join, Noryada. They get to join. They join the war, and they start to invade. They start to send troops to basically help against these countries as well. Meanwhile, Pentanovans continue to flex the muscle in this war, bringing their entire alliance in, which is thus Kanto, as well as they already use the red color anyways, and they also get Wufu to join in the war as well, which fear causes the Triangle Squad, which is this little alliance here, to join in on the war out of fear. Here, the Triangle Alliance joins against the Axis powers as well. Meanwhile, another power joins in, which is Dratavia as well. Dratavia has been building quite an empire as well, and they want to basically take out these countries over here. The Allied powers get some more help. They get Cali to join the Allies, Dante, and Feta to join, and of course, they get Tamara to join the Allied powers, alongside with Popey and Renin. You'll never thought to see the days where these countries join an alliance. Okay, Renin does not, but you never thought to see the day where these countries join an alliance as well. But the war begins. The big they are actually underestimating these countries. So Demonia and all these countries here, the Allied powers do push into Pentanovan quite a bit at the very beginning. But Pentanovan does get its allied country to join, which is Heofiu and Dortiev. They join against Demonia and Gautana, and these countries are pushed back quite a bit in this battle. Now, with the help of those two countries as well, Kanto starts to invade the Russian lands here, which Osai is not really too particularly concerned, as now they're particularly concerned with the much more closer to threat home. Meanwhile, Tavi and Renka, they said, we have enough of your Sunni and Tavi. They said, we just had enough of your bullshit, Kanto. So they declare war on Kanto. Okay. And basically, they're like, enough is enough. Okay. Enough is enough. Kanto also declares war on Miku, but this is not a very powerful country. So. And they also invade Sarisi, this country here. Which now it is officially became a world war. It has officially became a world war. So, Fry and Warpy Empire capture Suraniastia's capital. These countries same as Garcia for refusing to join, as this could be a matter of life or death for the world here. But one country said Monama makes a peace deal with these countries, and they really thought, hey, we could make peace with these countries, and no, they could not. So the war continues while Pantanoven is pushed back a little bit to cut off some of the front lines. Dratavia is actually losing the front line for a little bit, as well as they're basically being pounded by two fronts. However, a terrible choice is about to be made. Well, Rienka joins the Axis powers. Tavi's like, what are you doing, Rienka? Rienka is actually slightly weaker than Tavi, but both combined, they invade Tavi and defeat the country relatively quickly. Okay, they defeat Tavi relatively quickly, which leaves Tavi basically to the coastal countries where the government retreats to, as well. Viami, which used to be a colony, joins in on the war, as well as the Tavi government and Viami basically push back against this country right here, this big fastest country right here, and they start to push back against them 100%. Meanwhile, Fry is pushed back a little bit, but they start to open push against Neostia's defenses, destroying most of the country, which is the actual populated part of the country. So they are basically being blitzkrieged, as well as Fry finally has to invade the Alpine country, and Fusaka is completely surrounded at all costs. Meanwhile, with the help now of Fry and the Warpy Empire, Dratavia starts to invade a bunch of these small countries. Finai also joins the war with Finland, basically, and they start to invade Osai by surprise. Finai is a country that does not like Osai. They do not like Osai having so much land, as well. They are also an authoritarian government, as well, so they do not like the fact that people in Osai have freedom. So they actually start to go right into the main Osai populated areas. Yeah. And Osai calls on an old ally to help, but it's too little too late. Okay. Moravia, this country saw this happening from a mile away, and they start to invade Moravia. However, they do kind of reach a pause, like around here, and Pentanoven moves further north. And also, but the problem is, the Russian country has to basically defend three countries, three sides. Meanwhile, this front line is very short, as there's not really much of a war here. But they do break the front lines a little bit. However, Somi makes the strange decision and joins the Axis powers. Yes, they join the Axis powers because Somi wants to basically have a massive empire, which they see the Axis powers as basically, hey, we're going to give you this massive, massive empire as well. But the Axis powers are going to make the first fatal mistake, and that is invading Monama. Monama is one of the higher powers as well, and the reforms have worked out quite well. They have a president that's well liked and well beloved, but this is going to be a big problem because of Nildi's very reckless decisions. At the very, very beginning, Nildi is doing very, very well against Monama. They are destroying Monama's military. They are destroying this country's military. Okay? And they also invade this island here, where it's occupied now as well. And Tamara is being pushed back. And even with the help, Monama recruits their allies. Monama does have allied countries, Sahi and Croatia. These two countries have a very, despite being monarchies, they all get along. That's why they have never really had any major wars in the past centuries, which is why North Africa has mostly remained the same. Meanwhile, the Alpine country has been defeated, and the Axis powers are basically homing in on Cali, and they take out Germany, and they're just homing in on Cali at this point. Cali is the only real resistance, and meanwhile, the Brits meet up as well, Then Fry and the Warpy Empire want to split up Zali here. So they split up this country here amongst themselves. And yeah, there we go. Now they can basically focus on this front over here and take out all these small and weak nations as well here. And these countries, yes, they're part of the Allies, but they're not contributing too much here. And it looks like the Allies, with the exception of the African front, are kind of losing. And the invasion of North America starts to begin. They start to basically invade North America, and they take out Tavi's Alaskan colony very, very quickly as well. And the problem is they don't want to invade Yaqui simply because Yaqui is protected by Croatia. Croatia has basically said, hey, if any colonial countries invade you, me and Turza and Scavia will all join in, because these countries all have very positive relationships with each other, and they don't want their ally to be invaded. They don't want their friend to be defeated, to be destroyed. So they lay off of that for a while and not focus on North America at all as well. Here, and yeah, this part of North America joins the here, and I forgot to get to this to the Continental Empire. They own this area now. Here. Yeah, I think all I'm using for the Continental Empire. And also, who owns this? Okay, so I gotta look up for Brown Country. Nye? Probably Nye probably owns that. So yeah, Nye owns that. Well, this is a, pretty big deal, and yeah, it is. Okay, I think this country's already in the war. This oranges country here. Yeah, there's some pretty big holes. Okay, let's just say this colony is also part of the Allies. Let's say it's a colony of one of the countries that was joining. So this area is in the Allies, and basically the Allies are getting the asses handed to them, basically. Okay. Yeah. With the defeat of Tavi and the fall of Europe, looming ever closer, where they start to invade the inner portion of Cali, and Cali is defeated relatively quickly. Here, they are very quickly defeated. Here, they do not know what to do. However, as well as then they also start to invade Rua, which again is not a major power. They are very weak as well. They're just doing this to basically just flex here. Meanwhile, they invade Avedon. Problem is, Avedon is very much an ally of Bisa. No, it's not Bisa, Sisa. Meanwhile, however, there is a part of the war where they are completely losing, and that is the war in Nilda. They are completely being defeated by Monama. They weren't expecting Monama to be a very powerful country. They knew they were going to be a very tough country to take down, but they never anticipated basically being destroyed and split in half by the Monama military. Okay, this is going to cause Suomi to waste resources instead of invading up here, down here. So, down here, they're going to start to retake this land that had the massive push. They try to get Yami to join, but Yami does not want to join for obvious reasons. Their monarchy, they just want to extend their land and extend their reach, so they wanted to extend their country. Meanwhile, Pentanovan invades Osiri along with its allies to regain back its former land here, and they are actually doing pretty well at the very beginning. They take out a large portion of Persia, and they rush to here toward the Eds here. Which is the end for these two countries over here, so they're taken out very quickly. As quickly as it began, these countries are taken out. Demonia's capital is taken, and they are defeated as well. This causes Kyania, and Tavo basically out of friendliness towards these nations. Okay. And Tavo will join. And you think the Axis powers are doing very, very well. Okay. They're absolutely dominating in Europe. They're absolutely dominating against the Allied powers. They're absolutely dominating these countries. Okay. Most of these weaker countries. However, Avedon joins the war. And you know what that means? Bisa joins the war along with Sisa. This is something that they weren't expecting. Okay. Yeah. However, they do start, with Bisa's instability, they do start to invade Bisa first here. But the problem is Sisa joined the war. And Sisa is a pretty influential country. Okay. They don't really have many colonies like some other countries do. But this is going to be a pretty bad work for these countries, for Renka and Kanto. As they also accidentally start to invade lands of Safiz Essar, which causes Safiz Essar to join the war. Which is a pretty huge issue. As well, as this is a country that gets their allies to join the war. So Soviet equal and Nilda is now a part of the Allied powers. You see what's going on here? They're really screwing up. They also get Viate to join the Allies as well. Out of pressure to join here. So They do make some gains in Abaddon, and Ranka makes some gains in southern China, but they will start to lose this war as even more countries start to join than previously expected. Also, yeah. Oh wait, let's go with the Japanese countries. So yeah, they're already at war like the Philippines and stuff. Not Philippines. They're already at war with like the Pacific Islands and colonies and stuff. The first country that falls is this country over here. With the help of the communists, Commie Alliance, they start to lose the Holy Land area. And with the Moldova basically destroys them as well. Also, this Nova joins the war as well. And basically, they're screwed over here. They're screwed in Africa. They basically lose the African front very quickly because of this here. And now we're gonna see the slow downfall of the Axis powers. So, um, okay, we fixed the problem. And basically, the last holdout of Tulsa is finally handed over to this country here. So that doesn't really matter. But basically, they get all of South America. God, was it still owned by colonized countries? They basically get all of these countries to join against them. Okay. As well. And now they're starting to lose the African and Middle Eastern campaigns. These were two very important campaigns that they wanted to win here. Here, but they're not winning these campaigns. Also, CFO joins as well, which causes a whole sort of problems here. Meanwhile, Fry and its allies start to invade Soviet equal in these countries are defeated relatively quickly. Meanwhile, Finai separates Osai from its allies as well, and they're defeated as well, leaving Soviet equal to be all by itself as well. Which would mean, yes, Europe is not the most important continent in this timeline, but they will play a significant role. Okay. Also, we forgot to call in New Zealand. Okay. We won't go in the usual specific islands. Okay, we don't need to cover those countries, and they're part of the Japanese country. So yeah, so this is a and basically this fatal mistake is still not what will cost them the war, because they were still doing pretty well holding the Middle Eastern front as well. They even get Feta to join the war, and basically they forced him to, but they get Feta and Dante to join the war as well, and they start to invade Gantana and Osai and get even very close to the capital. But Kanto is running out of oil, which causes them to invade Yaki, which is protected. This is a protected country. So it causes Carissa, Turza, and Volhynia and Skavia to join the war. These countries do not like the fact that their ally is being invaded. They do not like the fact that their ally is being invaded, and they start to basically destroy the colony up here that Kanto was trying to achieve very quickly. Even if it was winter, they don't have a lot of military presence up here. So They start to basically push back in the Saucy area here, and Bisa, with its economy is going bankrupt as well, which is going to have a civil war, kind of like how China did right after this World War thing. They start to basically invade Asia as well, because Asia's going to be taken out before Europe does as well. They get Nai to join the war. This country joins the war, and Yaski joins the war. And they also get the Continental Union to join the war. Yes, this alliance has never been more screwed than now. And they also this is based Continental Union is basically kind of like how America joined the war and turned the tide, because Continental Union does not border any country that is hostile with it, but they're going to basically send troops and military equipment to these countries. So they start to basically invade Rienka as well. This country is being defeated relatively quickly. The puppet state revolts against its master. And joins again and the allies. So this is pretty bad. So Rufu joins the allies and the puppet against the puppet master here. And Renka is being pushed back greatly. And it surrenders very quickly. Meanwhile, the other forces start to push back. The North American forces start to push back against Kanto. And Kanto is on its line. And the dictator of Kanto commits suicide right before they take the capital here. Which means officially Kanto surrenders as well. Now it's time for them to take out the other two great powers. So the problem is they can't really invade through Iran but they're gonna invade this way. Because they took out the Asian powers, they are now taking out Pentanovid, which is not very hard, and they also get Bidu and Bokso to join the side as well, which means they attack from the south as well, as basically they form the United Nations of this world. It'll just be as useless as our time at United Nations, but at this point, United Nations, basically they call on all remaining powers to join. So Guardia joins, Spenia joins, and these three countries join, and Xanadu joins. Some of these island countries do not join as well. Some of these Indian countries join. Taos joins the war, and Renan joins the war. As Garcia just wants to stay neutral, they don't want to be a part of this war, as they kind of think it's pointless as well. But they do join the war, which flips, turns the tables. On Fry here, and Fry is being destroyed. They're being destroyed military. Batavia is being destroyed military, and Suomi is being destroyed military. Also, the Finland country is being destroyed military as well. Here, and this is not looking too great here. Okay. However, Fry is not giving up. Warpy and Fry are not giving up. Fry gets defeated, but they do not know how to defeat Warpy. This country is basically on an island, and they decide to use, as of now, the first nuclear weapon on its capital and its second largest city. This causes the war to end at basically just Warpy and Fanai at this point. Fanai surrenders as well along with Suomi. And this is the peace deal. Well, not much has been done except for Safor extending, use this as an opportunity to really extend the little alliance they had here. So Basically, this is the Iron Curtain of Asia. That's basically what they're doing here. And yeah, Pentanova got pushed back again to its original territory as well. And there was a now new Cold War between the Communist Alliance and Monama as well. As the European powers don't really hold much weight that much anymore. But it's mostly this North African country versus the Safis SR. And the Safis SR forces Rinka into its union as well. As a part of the peace treaty, this country forms basically a massive country. The Zenaya Union is created, with its capital still based down here. And basically, this is going to be, because Monama was the first country to create nukes, it is going to be a Cold War between Monama and China, basically. This country right here. Zenaya Union. With Caesar and Tavi are basically going to be like, oh my god, this is going to be very scary. As they're going to be the main conflict of interest a lot of the times. As there might be nukes pointed at these countries anymore. Say there are Kanto and Sudi as well. And basically a NATO-esque alliance is created with Monama. As they don't like NATO being over here. And that's another communist country. And the Soviet equal, which is another country over here. That's a part of the alliance. So basically, Zeni's Union, Soviet equal, and Monama. And the Zeni's Union starts a civil war in Bisa, mostly between communists and democratic governments. Which you might see a democratic government free like Argentina or Colombia or something as well. And that's about this video here. Goodbye.